Uh, Today is day 9 and it's April 2021. My bed is calling me. So, we will have the movement since from the moment that we stopped. We had a clear observation about systematical failures. Those systematical failures will happen inside an environment. Sometimes this is the Banach space as itself, which can be, noticed or reported as an internal dot product, which present itself as, a self-sufficiency structure, and it's a completely outlined thing inside your space. It means that you have their own proper way to do things, to communicate things, and to use your resources. It's a clandestine activity inside your regular system that will have a result inside a result. And then you need a duplicity of registry, you know, to in a very first moment have the continuity of this, and have the continuity of this by the control at this, which is an evidence of your interest as association associated on it. Can you get? And sometimes you have areas with more strictly rules of compliance and patterns of control, and then you have this as a single knot. This single knot maybe will be oriented to have association using this uh, fiduciary perception on areas that has this structure with the self-sufficiency to act in a clandestine way, have a list or a clandestine result which will be presented by duplicity of registry inside a regular result. And then we are having on mind the idea as structure as capital asset. In the same way, we will observe that this capital asset can be something material or immaterial, and both will give you the idea on industry. You can have, for instance, the fake offer, the fake item offered by a productive system, and you do not have the need as the human resource to make the production as a clandestine thing, because you can have the workflow and violate copyrights in all areas and put this at the e-commerce website, but that the service is completely different because you have the knowledge and the expertise, sometimes the core business. And the business as itself, it means that you must have the corruption of the variable or the owners of this intellectual asset as expertise to take advantage of this. And the knowledge and the expertise as an intellectual asset, it's very close to the idea as inside a make decision procedure as a jurisdiction, and the application of the law by a local judge. And this can happen in the same way inside your company, and this can happen by two levels of instruction at this judge or at this director, for instance. And then you will observe that you can have maybe a judge straight, a judge corrupted, and a judge that will be dubious. You can have a director okay, a director not okay, or a director that will be dubious. The doubt associated or presented at a variable allow this variable to act. In Italy, you have this name. It's named the corrigiere. And the ancient Rome, you had this, which was, pretor, a magister, an authority at that time that make an intervention. And sometimes to have this intervention, this variable must, have the knowledge of two sides at the same coin, and then he, can have the corrective intervention as a control at that time, and the idea of control is the same idea on present time. It means that if your coin have on two sides, and if you are having the control by a dubious situation or a dubious variable or something that have the knowledge of different sides, indeed these variable that have the knowledge of different sides are making the judgment about you is, playing the coin. Can you get? It means that this make decision procedure will be fed by two qualitative arguments that in general can be something that will put you to do the right decision or to do not have the right decision. This can happen as the application of the law in the way you apply your money. And then you are having on present time a lot of companies, business and activities, and they have very complicated situation, which is having the institutional agreement to point groups at the dismissing procedure that will give the plea bargain as the notes at this group. And then we are working with this model here. As you can observe, we are having the distribution as state, government, and companies, and three different circles inside with different colors, but all wrong because they are not square, they are all circles. And then these dismissing group as circles are giving me the most promiscuous area, which will be, for instance, a triangle formed by the integration or the connection inside the system. And this is very close as distribution to the presentation as square. It means that you have a corrupted level at the control. And this can be presented when you have the right pathway to have a decision, the wrong pathway to have a decision, and the structural gap, which can be swapped or exchanged or even noticed as the fusification as information to have a decision by dubious or by doubt, which indeed will be used to do not have the punishment against those variables, because indeed instead of have the decision, we will have a disruptive, even an interruption at this make decision procedure to have the audit of all variables that are feeding this make decision procedure. And we said before, if we had this problem at the make decision procedure, the variables that are feeding will be cut, it will be in a very uncomfortable situation. If you are having this as a martial trial, for instance, you are part of the war crime or the warfare crime by the utilitarian use of your misfunctional behavior or wrongdoing to set a utilitarian level that can serve both, which indeed can be applied at the right make decision procedure or at the wrong make decision procedure, but into both as a vector that will be noticed as a dubious situation. If you had this, for instance, on Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in many cases, it's so much easy to understand and get things that maybe you have the payment to have this kind of activity because you are not doing this wrongdoing, this misuse of your functional attribute, which is have the registry for free. You have any kind of illicit advantage or advantage in any way. And for instance, if this happened in Brazil by the Transnational Organized Crime Law, which is the Law 12,850 2013, all variables inside this make decision procedure during the registry are maybe under investigation. You know, can you get the point? And if this investigation is made by a dubious variable, maybe this variable is coin is playing the coin. Can you get? It means that you will have a choice, heads or chest, something like this. Quite simple to understand, isn't it? Then we'll observe that this structural gap indeed is used in the same way in all areas that have heads, like the economy. And we had on mind that the utilitarian level of things by the marginalism behavior will have a decreasement according with the qualitative and the type of the density of information that you have. If you have a storage of right things, and then you have income as falsification or dubious information, of course that will be spotted and highlighted. And then you will have the requirement of information or review at the areas highlighted. And if this happened before, indeed you are having, and we are confirming again, the systematical behavior as something continuous. The systematical behavior can be considered aleatory, neoclassic school. I think that is Chicago economical theory. Can you get the point that you are guilty? All of you. Have a good Friday. I'm in. Take a look at this sky. The sky that you have that chest higher. Alice smile. Have a good day.